Good afternoon. Just got back from the Jewett City Flea Market. I paid $1 for this radio. It's an Air King. I do not know the model number. The dial pointer is down there. You can probably see it a little bit down on the bottom right hand corner, but I think the dial cord is off. It looks to me like the word Air King is in gold, so that could probably be touched up, but not with my eyesight. No model number. It's a Bakelite case. And we're going to go over this radio inspection-wise. I'll set you up on a tripod using the Kodak ZE-1. And I'm sure we're going to have to do some cap replacement and so forth. And of course the cord has been cut off, which is good because nobody's going to plug it in and blow something up. So let's get you on a tripod here. We're just going over. When we find the model number, I will post it on this video. All right. Now if it's very close to the cabinet, okay, looks like the original knobs, close as I can tell. The metal grill. There's one of the vendors over there in Jewett City. It's not the one I used to get my radios from. He has not been there in the last few weeks, according to Bob. And I did see Bob up there today. He arrived a little bit after we got there. The guy knew nothing about this radio. Says, give me $1 for it. So, oh, it's got octal tubes in it, or loctals and octals. No information whatsoever. On the cabinet. So we have no idea what model it is. The speaker's got some holes in it, tears in it. The dial cord is off. Well, I can't deal with that. The light is off. Okay. B7. Gotta clean these tubes, I can't read them. Westinghouse tubes. It don't look like too bad of a job. I can deal with this one. This is not impossible to work on. Wonder what it uses for a rectifier tube. Could be a 35 Z5, most likely. Well, we'll do. And a little bit of Windex so I can read the numbers on the tops of the tubes here. I can't read that one. Can't read that one. Not doing too good. Let's see. $50L6, all right. First thing we do with this is to replace the electrolytic. It's a 50L6, so I would say this is a 35Z5. And we'll be taking the tubes out and testing them. Waste coil is rubbing a little bit. It needs gluing. Use some Duco cement on that. Radio dial pointer is off the string. It looks to me like somebody put ordinary string in there. It don't look like original dial cord. But that's something I will not deal with. It's just hanging there. The only thing keeping this on is the speaker, being up against the speaker here. The tuning capacitor moves freely. A lot of guys will take all this apart. I won't do that. I'll just blow it out. I have air here and blow it out. CRC cleaner. Let it dry. Lubricate the ball bearings. Clean the chassis as best I can after removing all the tubes. Testing all the tubes. The cord goes on at the last step. I've got to test the coil for continuity. It uses 2 of the larger IF cans, which from what I understand are not subject to silver mica disease, which is good. So, Lochtel. Looks like a 14B6. 14 Baker 6. clean the tube up a little bit. A little bit of Windex. Yep, 14B6. We'll probably test that, but right now, we're not going to pull too many tubes out. I'm going to clean this. I don't go tearing stuff off the chassis. I can't deal that way. I can't work that way. I clean the best I can. What I'm going to do here, I'll have to move this back. Antenna coil in the back. Wet my rag down with a little bit of Windex here. The chassis is a little bit rusted, but what I usually do is one of two things. If it's not rusty too much, I put a light film of oil on the chassis with a rag. And if it's too rusty, I paint it with aluminum paint. So I want to just clean this area. So we don't have any tube identification chart, nor do we have a marking on the chassis for the tubes. So we're going to put the tubes back in over in this section. Until I get the rest of the chassis cleaned the best way I can. Looks better already. The 50L6. Now the problem we have several 50L6s, so we don't have a problem with that. Right now, we'll just stick it in there. Let's see. Quarter inch, quarter inch, quarter inch. So 3/4 inch. Nuts in the back here. Let's see, we're still recording, yeah. Quarter inch nut driver. It don't look like this has been taken off recently. Right. Let's put that. My aluminum tray here. My, not aluminum, magnetic. This is the back. Go there. I go there. Alright, this is a 14Q7 over here. I'll get a little rag with some Windex on it. That's what I usually do, is I don't remove this stuff. There's no need to do that. That's overkill. We're not trying to make it a museum piece. We're just trying to clean it up a little bit. Had to get in there with a little bit of a rag and a screwdriver just to force the rag in there and clean it. That don't look too bad. I think what it needs, let's see now, a piece of emery, a little piece of emery cloth here. Let's see what this looks like here. Yeah, that'll shine up. Of course I can only go partially under the tuning cap. But not going to worry about it. You can always paint it. That looks good enough. So this is a 14Q7 over here. I would say this is a 1940s vintage radio. Let me get this cap cut out of here. It's a wax. Leave the lead long so I can hook and pinch, J-hook, this other end which goes to the chassis. Okay, now we don't want to lose where we're at here, because let me see what I got here. Alright, get my damp rag here. Clean off the board a little. And we'll get our marking pens out and mark the wires where they go. With a red. See what other color I can come up with. And a black. We'll color that red. A red dot over here. All right. And black dot over here. These are the loop stick wires. I want to make sure they go back on the right terminals. Okay, now I can cut them off and get that loop stick out of the way. Okay, see. It's not showing up too good, is it? Okay, the black and the red. Alright. All right. Now that we got that off, are we still recording and am I still in camera? That's a good question. I really don't know. Yep. All right, now we got these marked black and red. Remove that tube. 7B7. Clean it up a little bit. I'm going to test all the tubes, of course. I expect the 35Z5 is going to be open, the filament, I'm sure. Down in there with the brush. Rotate the brush in there. Don't look too bad. Don't look too bad. Okay, we know a loctite goes in here, so we can safely pull out the other tube, which is not marked. DL6, I thought that was a 35. That's got to be a 35Z5. It looks like one. When you can't read them at all, there's no problem spraying the whole thing with Windex and wiping it down because you can't read it anyways. It's probably a 35Z5. I'm sure of that. Certainly looks like one. Can't read the rest, but I'm going to guarantee that that's a 35Z5. We get our brush in there. Okay. Move it around here with the nut driver. Try to clean around the chassis a little bit. This is the way I do it. Take a Q-tip and put a light film of oil on the chassis. That's what I usually do. Alright, now between the speaker magnet and this IF can, I got to get in here and clean it. So we take a flat blade with the cloth. clean the back of the eye-up can and the chassis. Looking pretty good. Bad. Alright, what I'm doing here, I got some of this Super Strength Mean Green. I don't know, I've had it for a while. And we put some Mean Green on a rag. I can get the sprayer to work. And go around the eye-up cans on the part that I can reach. Shine them up a little bit. Top of the speaker, output transformer here. Don't get too crazy. It's not a museum piece. It's not going to be shown in the Smithsonian Institute. Just clean it up. Make it presentable for, I wouldn't say restoration, but for repair. All right. Now, let's see. Doesn't look too bad. Don't look too bad at all. This is basically how I do it, you know, to clean it up a little bit, you know. You get an area, because I got to get some more emery cloth here, and shine that up a little. That don't look too bad. A whole lot better than when I got it. The rubber grommet is very soft still, so I'm not going to replace that. We'll just clean around it. Not bad here. We'll just clean it up a little bit. We got to do the speaker here. We got to take this off, because the dowel cord's going anyways, and clean this up with some cleaner. Be very careful not to take the writing off of that. Okay, I'm going to be checking coils for continuity. But this is just a going over right now. Two slotted screws right here. So before I end this video, let's take out this. And put that down there. Like I'm going to remember where they go. Goes there. Okay, take that off. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Run! The guys that do dowel cords, they think it's nothing. It's a major, major headache job that I never could do. And had nothing to do with eyesight. It's just, I just can't do it. We clean that up. I'm using Windex. Looks like it's a brass piece. Looks pretty dirty. I wonder if I tried some of this crap on there. I don't have a clean section of this rag anymore. Well, let's see. Don't want to rub too hard, just in case. You know, it's dirty looking, but I don't want to use anything stronger than that cleaner that I'm using now, because I know what's going to happen. The writing will come off. Lovely. Just lovely. You know, I've been pretty lucky with all my radios. I guess a dowel cord goes on that too, I don't know, but every radio I've gotten, the dowel cord works on it, not broken, and the Hallicrafters S107 is going to have a broken dowel cord before too long because it's very thin and frayed, and I remember making a video about gluing it. We're not going to mess around with that dowel cord. No, sir. We're going to put a little bit of oil in the ball bearings down here. Work that around. That's what I always do. Sometimes I'll put lubriplate in there, but oil gets into the ball bearings better. And that's what I use. Okay. Let's see to get the damn thing in there. Tell you what we're going to do. Cut that off. We're not dealing with dowel cords. I can't deal with them. We're going to Scotch tape the pointer so it don't get lost. To this, and we're going to do it on the back side so it don't take up the paint, take off the paint on the thing. See, that's what we're doing. We don't put no tape here because when you pull it off it might damage that. Are we still recording? Yeah. Alright, that's why we do them in WVGA when they're long like this. Okay. Alright, now we'll just leave this crap hanging here. And we'll put the screws back in. Put the screws back in. We don't do dial cords. No, sir. We do not do dial cords. So, we'll have to tune this radio by turning the tuning condenser, and it'll probably get put back into the cabinet. I will recap it. There's no question about that. I will recap it. Not now. Well, of course I do that off of camera. Damn it. These things are hard to get in. You can't see nothing, you're no damn good. Here we go. Used to be able to get them in with no problem, but now I got to get my face right on top of everything, as you well know. Alright, now what I'm going to do here is we're going to glue that speaker at Duco cement here. what we used to use years ago. Pretty weak all around here.
Video's all done.
Okay, I'll be in the house in a minute.
Being converted.
Okay. That was Tommy. As you probably know, we have a video up there of Jewett City, and Tommy did it on his camera, and he's running it through Sony Movie Studio 13, so it'll take a few hours to render, and you by now I'm sure you've seen it. So he was just informing me that it's ready, but like I say, by now you have seen it. So, okay. All right. Let's let that set. Let that set. And we'll come back on this. This is just a show and tell on this video, on this radio I should say. You can call it part 1 of the Unknown Air King. That's what it's going to be called, but of course somebody will come up with a model number and then it will no longer be the Unknown Air King. But right at the moment it is. So we've got an electrolytic up here, and we got this one here, which is a 2-section, which is going to be taken out, and new capacitors underneath. It's not a hard radio at all to do. It's when there are multi-layers of caps and stuff and buried in there that I cannot work on them. But this, I can honestly say, I can do. So, except for the dial cord, I cannot do that. It's way beyond me. The cans didn't come out too bad. They just needed a little cleaning. This is the cap that's on the back of the coil, the loop coil, antenna coil, and we left it long. We just put a hook in there and we'll J-hook it with the new cap, but that'll be later on. The radio was marked with the red and black wires, so I know where they go in the coil. It may not make any difference, but we want to put them on the way they were. I will be testing all these tubes, as well as the pilot light, which is most likely burnt out. Not a bad little radio. Okay, this concludes part 1 of the Unknown Air King. And I will be recapping. I will be testing continuity of the IF transformers and the oscillator coil off camera. I can work a lot better that way. I can get my face right up in it. Make sure I'm connecting to the right places. I can do that much better if I'm doing it off camera.